good people of the internet, thank you for tuning back in and welcome back to Breaking the Syllabus, the podcast where we rip up the lesson plans and say the things that need to be said in education. I am your host, the one and only Tyler Powell, and today we are getting into a mindset shift that might just change how some people run their classroom. Are you a teacher who coaches or a coach who teaches? Because yes, there's a difference, and man, am I passionate about this one. Like we've done recently, let's jump into our singles, home runs, strikeouts, and errors. All right, so our single today kind of piggybacks on last one, is asking for help first. This week, I've made a constant decision to ask for input before trying to solve everything myself. What I mean by that is, I have been asking other teachers how I could teach a subject or my students are struggling and having them working on that. Now, this is a win for me, a single for me. I don't want to say win. It's more of our home run section, right? Is because I feel like I know my curriculum pretty well, but getting help from others might give my students a better way to understand something. I might be teaching this way and they're like, Mr. Powell, doesn't make sense. Please help us out. When really, if I teach it this way like they were, boom, they get it. This is something I have made a conscious decision to keep working on. So my students are doing something, I look over, I'm like, oh, I need to try that. Okay, I'll try that. Next, my home run. This is one of those things that makes me want to cry when my students do this. The students are teaching each other. What I mean by that is I will have students who will look at a problem with a partner and be like, hey, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? And not that they've been trained, but I've had students who say, well, where do you think we start? They almost take it word for word out of what I would say to them. And it's been awesome. It makes it so I have 10 to 15 more teachers in every classroom helping students get done with their stuff. It, again, has been amazing. I've loved every second of it. And when my classroom doesn't need me to help and answer every question, we get more done and it runs smoother because I can step back and help my students who need it. This has been something that I have loved, and yes, it has been knocked out of the park, not because me, but because my students are figuring out what's expected. All right, let's get to the bad stuff. My strikeout lately has been uneven opportunities. What I mean by that is some students take too much control and I'm letting it happen. Now, I understand that some students might be able to help the others, but at times I need to separate groups out so we can have the student who struggles be in control. They need to be a driver, not just a bystander in my class to improve. As I keep working on this, I know I've got room to improve. Again, I will never be a perfect teacher. My students might think that I'm pretty darn close, but guess what? They don't realize when I reflect and go, that was awful. What was I thinking? So, again, my strikeout for this week is giving students uneven opportunities. And my error, where did I drop the easy pot fly, is I've had some pretty bad proximity lately. What that means is I've had some groups that I don't get around to them as much. Those might be one of two cases. It might be it could be the group that has it crushed. They are on top of their assignments. They're doing this, that. They're ahead. They know what's doing. I never have to worry about it. Number two could be the group that needs help to stay on track. Both of these groups, sorry about that. Both of these groups I have dropped the ball on. I have not made enough of an effort to get over there. I do feel I circle the students who need the extra help more, but when it comes to those students, I'm just not getting over there. I'm letting them down. And having this podcast has made me realize the things I need to work on. It has opened my eyes to every single thing that I might not be good at as a teacher. It is not easy to sit here and reflect on it as a teacher. Even as maybe just an athlete or somebody who does orchestra band, to reflect and be like, what did I kind of mess up at, or what was I not good at? Take a minute to think for yourself about that, and it can go to a deep, dark place. All right, let's get into the grit of this, and man, here we go. I have been saying this for a long time, and there are two different things: a teacher coach and a coach teacher. This is about to get wild. Okay, a little background on me. I love coaching, but guess what? I've got 3 young kids, and coaching is not really in my life right now. They are more important. Not only do I have kids, I'm also taking classes for my PhD. So let me tell you, my life is busy. I have some other obligations, but we won't talk about on this one. And of course, got to take care of my amazing wife. Shout out to her. She is crushing it. Best thing that ever has happened to me. So when I was coaching, I tried to pride myself on being a teacher coach all the time. What I consider a teacher coach is a person who is a teacher during the school day and coaches after. I will say it again: teacher during the day, coach after school. Obviously, we make an exception if you have to leave early. I get that. If you have to leave early for that, there is an exception. But most teachers, this will be jaw-dropping, most teachers went into teaching to teach, okay? Your job is to be a teacher. Your job is not to be a coach teacher. A teacher coach has to focus on their job. I understand you love coaching. You get to coach a sport you love. I loved coaching wrestling. Loved it. I would be there every day. I would work out with the kids. I was trying to build a culture just like in the classroom. But guess what? From 8 a.m. to 2:45, 3 o'clock, I don't know when we ended. Nope, 2:45. My job was to be a teacher. That is what I was there to do, was to be a stinking teacher. Now, a coach teacher. I don't want names. Just want to tell you about experiences I've had or what I've seen. A coach teacher. I'm going to take a drink of water for this. I'm going to mute this real quick. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. A coach teacher. Oh, let me tell you this one. I'm going to make some people mad if they hear this. A coach teacher is somebody who does not give two rats blank. They don't care about the students. They care about their athletes. They can have people walking in the door. They drop their lesson to go take care of this prized athlete. You know, in the middle of class, they're doing this for their sports team or this for their sports team or this. They aren't there to be a stinking teacher. And honestly, it pisses me off. You are telling me your blank number of players are more important than your 150 students if we're looking low numbers? How is that fair to those students? Maybe that student never had the opportunity to do a sport, and you're going to say, you know what? My athletes are up here and you're way down here. That is not what should be happening, guys. And I think because we hold sports to a great, these people are amazing. Sports are amazing. I get they are amazing, but that does not mean we should just let people off the hook the easy way. I am a great component, and if any of my former athletes are listening to this, you'll know I was kind of a jerk. I was hard on you, but I cared about you. I'll never forget the day I got called into the AD's office because I didn't let a kid go to a wrestling match. Let me give you more background on this. This is where the teacher-coach came into play, not the coach-teacher. So as a teacher, I wanted all of my students to be successful. As a coach, I had very high expectations. If you've seen the movie Coach Carter, you know he wanted to change a lot at that school and the team. And if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert, he did. Now, did he do it a nice, friendly, easy way? No. He kicked the stinking door in and increased the expectations quickly. So I remember we were getting ready to leave for a wrestling match. And as I'm walking through the office, I say, hey, we have everybody, we're good to go. I walk in right before we leave, and I see one of my students was an in-school suspension. One of my athletes. Now, I did not know this at the time, but you know what? Even if I had known it, I probably still would have done it. I'm not afraid. Student was there, had his back, but I said, give me your varsity singlet. What? I have to give you my singlet? Yeah, but what am I going to do? You're staying here. If you are that immature to get in trouble the day of a match, you should not be allowed to go. Well, the next day, the athletic director was in my classroom before school. We had a good talk, and she let me know what the actual school procedures were. The school procedures was to get the students involved. There was really no academic criteria. There was no behavior criteria. I didn't know that. And honestly, I really couldn't have cared. I was trying to make better boys out of these kids. They were 7th, 8th, and 9th graders, and I said, no, we're going to be better. Now, continuing that story, let's, fast forward about 4 weeks. Season's getting over. Guess how many times that player had gotten in trouble since that day? I want to say 0, but maybe 1. The athletic director looked at me after that season and goes, I see what was expected. And I'm like, what do you mean? She goes, I didn't see your big picture, Tyler. I'm like, well, it's hard to see. And she goes, but it helped these boys. I'm like, yes, it did. My expectations were very high. My wife told me this story. We had a big banquet. This was one of those stories that I will never forget. So let me give you a little background. Before wrestling practice would start every day, got my Apple Watch on. Practice started at, I don't know if it was 3 or 3:05, maybe 3:15. I don't know. It was 15 minutes after school ended. So no matter what, 15 minutes after, we were going. Truly, every day, I would be down there about 5 minutes till the kids were doing some sort of game. 5 minutes till practice started. I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, jogging. And honestly, if they didn't start jogging at the beginning, there was going to be a consequence. They knew that practice started this time, and our expectations were so clear. Boom, we got to start now. As it comes to our banquet for the end of the year, banquet started at 5 or 6. Well, guess what time I took the microphone, started talking so we could eat? It was either 5 or 6 on the dot. Parent comes in late. And parent goes, oh my gosh, these things never start on time. What is going on? Kid looked over at him and goes, Mom, it's Coach Powell. If he says it's going to start on time, it's dang well going to start on time. One of those things that my athlete, who was also in my class, knew the expectation. He knew the culture of our room. Now, it was the thing of expectations. The coach teacher. I have seen and heard too many stories about teachers who also coach, aka a coach teacher, using their class time for coaching stuff. I have seen teachers watch film during class. Like, are you freaking kidding me? It's class time. Your job is to teach. There's no reason for that. Oh, I got to go have a meeting with this player. Do that outside of school hours, dude. Figure it out, or woman. Okay? Yeah, man, without getting too explicit on this podcast, I've just got to watch myself and say, if you are a person who coaches, you need to be a teacher coach. Teaching is more important than coaching at that point in time. As soon as the school day ends, I'm with you. Jump into coaching mode. But you got to switch from A to B when the end of the day ends. Like, you just got to go over it. Now, I get at times there might be 1 or 2 things, and I'm not going to say I was perfect. I was never a perfect teacher coach. There were times where, yes, I became a coach teacher because something popped up and it was urgent. Now, urgent means it's 1 out of a few, not every day. Just please, 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 if you know somebody who might fall into this, give this one a share to them and say, hey, I thought of this when I heard it from you. One thing that I remember from my high school experience, the amount of teachers who coach teachers, I'm not going to say that aloud, or I'm not going to say any names, who truly would sit there and be doing film lessons during class while I had to sit down and work quietly. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, they really didn't give a crap if I did my work. They'd be at their desk. You could tell they had their iPad up. They had their iPad up and they're just watching film on it and be like, oh, okay. They had stinking all sorts of things on their board that did not relate to the class. Their board space was being used more for coaching than teaching. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Again, there was more than one time where I made a quick practice plan during class, but it was rare. That is what my evenings were for. Ask my wife. She's telling me all the time, "What are you doing? Practice plans for tomorrow." Get ahead. You are being paid outside of contract hours to work outside of contract hours as a coach, not during the day. Oh, man. It's one of those things. I love education, guys. Nothing gets me more fired up than dealing with bad teachers. Me and my wife always talked that if I became a principal, I'd have two sides. One side of the school would love me and we would ride or die together. The other side of the school would leave or would want me fired because I'm not going to be nice about it. And instead of doing that, I think this podcast has been a great way for me to get some of those things out there that I think need to be said. So hopefully you guys are loving it. Well, at the end of the day, it is not about being perfect. It's about recognizing who you are and how you're shaping the people who are in front of you. Guys, thank you so much for coming into this one today and hanging out with me. If you nodded your head, rolled your eyes, or even shouted at your radio, let me know. I want to hear from you. Give me some comments on what my next one should be on. You can find me at any social media at Breaking the Syllabus. Tell me, are you a teacher coach or a coach teacher? What is your vibe in the classroom? It's okay not to be perfect. We all know I wish I was perfect, but I am not. Again, thank you for Breaking the Syllabus, where we say what teachers are really thinking. Make sure you give me a like, follow, rate it, all those good things, and I will see you guys next time. Hey, change the world. Peace.